So yes, if we want to get started, we can.
Alright. So, last time with the Whims of Fate. Um, Erden and Tong went to the bathhouse and bathed. Idea went to the crafting area and had to basically sell off her labor by saying that she's the best free labor that the foreman could get. Or at least the most dedicated free labor. Brina wandered around town and heard some concerning things about people forgetting things. Significant things. Erden and Tong also heard much of this information, and while Tong decided to go back to their temporary residence, Erden decided to go off to the
Fisher King.
See about meeting the Fisher King. Along the way, he met Brina, and Mama Rada had perfect timing with a sending, basically saying, "What's everyone doing? I'm bored."
And we had kebabs.
After a bit of magical misunderstandings, Rada eventually joined Brina and Erden, and the two of them set off together.
Are there pigeons somewhere?
Sounds like dog.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's probably us. The dog downstairs barks all the time.
That's fun.
His name's Hercules, so at least you know who's barking.
It's a bark collar.
He needs more time outside is what he needs.
Yeah, he lives in an apartment.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Honestly, I think it's cruel to force dogs to live in an apartment. We've got neighbors who have huskies, and I'm like, how? Yeah.
Those things
Huskies
need a
lot of room.
Yeah.
A lot of work, at least.
Hercules is a boxer.
They still need quite a bit. They're not small dogs. Yeah. I don't think dogs are apartment pets. Of course, in this day and age, nobody can afford to not live in an apartment, so.
Rude.
Anyway, all right.
Which is why the majority of our neighbors have dogs.
Yeah.
Because it's an apartment that allows dogs. And they can't know who can afford anything else.
So we've got 3 of you at the gates of what you assume is the palace proper. Because there's guards and it looked official.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going for.
Who is going to talk to the guards and see?
Ern will do it.
Eden, this is your mission. You take the lead.
Aaron will just walk up to the nearest guy and say, like, "Hi, is this the palace proper?"
What do you mean by palace proper?
You know, where the king is and all that.
Oh. Yeah. Why? Can you heal him?
Well, that's what I'm here to find out. Everyone seems a little cagey as to what's wrong with them, so I'm here to find out, see if I can help.
Well, that's because, and before he can finish, another guy comes up and just kind of shoves him out of the way and goes, "Look, if you can help, you can help. That's all we need. You shut up. Get back in your post. You 3 follow me." And he will swiftly turn on heel and head inside. So the inside does not look like
No.
any palace you have been in at this point. It does not look like Constance's palace. It does not look like Orlois's palace. It does not look like Boar's palace. It's built very different. And the best way I can describe it, think 18th century Versailles.
Huh.
Yes. Very fancy.
I was
So
going to
very
say,
modern
the word
building.
opulent comes to mind.
Huh?
The word opulent comes to mind.
Yes, yep. There's tapestries everywhere. There's sparkling suits of armor that do not appear to be made of armor, but appear to be made out of probably more diamond. There are servants wandering about. There are guards
Minecraft.
milling the hallways.
I was thinking we're just secretly walking around the De Beers.
The Beers, other rows had
That,
beers.
yeah.
Um,
That's where they keep all of those diamonds they aren't selling us.
No wonder they
eventually
were able to put a market on them because they're fake.
So eventually, you are led to a set of double doors. They're not going to be like huge, doors that you're used to in your typical palace. They're regular doors that swing open, but it does open into what looks like a throne room. And there is nothing but a singular chair there, and a throne, but the throne is not facing those doors. The back is to you. And it does appear that there's somebody sitting there.
And
The hands.
throne not
You-
face the doors.
I didn't learn that rule in Dune about, always never keeping your back to the door.
Right? Well, there may be multiple sets of doors in this room.
That makes sense.
You can only see his hands, and the hands as they rest on the arms of the throne, and the hands you see look nothing like what you've seen on these other people. They are not opalescent. They are gray and drab and wrinkled. It almost looks like he's dried out. The guard will actually stop at the door and say, "He's sitting in the throne. When you're ready to leave, just knock on the door. I'll let you out."
Anything I should know beforehand? Particular greetings, etc.
Just don't piss him off.
Got it.
And he will.
On the door and heads inside.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna. So the door's open. He had to unlock it and let you in. So he's telling you as you're walking in, and then he's gonna close the door behind you, and you're gonna hear a distinct click. There are no handles on the inside of these doors.
Ominous. That's completely out of character.
What?
Oh, I was just thinking, like, I want to be able to get out the doors.
Little do you know, you threw a trap here forever.
You get to stay.
But I have my brother's wedding.
Be
And these
our
are all honored
guest.
guests.
Be our guest.
Don't worry, at least one of the members of the party in the room has plot armor.
At the same time, though, Marco, you starting to sing "Be Our Guest." I had never heard of that song before, and but it feels ominous and threatening. It's like,
You guys sing it in a minor key.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, Jen?
You guys sing it in a minor key. Matcha.
Is there anyone else in the room, or is it just him?
Just a
Please don't sing it in a minor key. Please.
come on.
No.
Work with me here. There you go.
Can anyone learn to sing, or is it a talent you're just born?
Shut up.
Here's the real
Tramp.
answer. If you
No.
Yeah. This is oh, that's Beauty and the Beast. That wasn't what I asked. Bleh. How dare you? Whatever. The point is made. Anyway. Yes. So it's just you and him in there.
All right. Ern will start walking over to him and just say, greetings, Fisher King. I am Erden Archerson, and I have come in hopes to help you with what ails you.
As you're coming around the throne, you see what must have been one of these folks, maybe? Or maybe something similar. He was definitely Fey. But he is, like, just like his hands, everything is gray and wrinkled and shriveled. His hair is thin and wispy. He's got this circlet that's sitting on his head, but it looks like it's too big for his head. Like he looks like he's practically a mummy sitting on this throne, that his clothes are hanging loosely off of him. He doesn't move, but you can watch it. You watch as he has very, very blue eyes, and they do follow you as you walk in front of him. But
At
he does
least the
not
eyes
move.
are.
What was that last thing, Jen?
He does not move, just his eyes.
Does his mouth or throat move as if he's trying to say something, or does he not even bother with that?
No.
Eh. Well,
Very, very. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
I guess Ern tries to do a physical. See if
Okay.
there's anything, at least if there's anything obviously physically wrong with him.
Give me a medicine check.
Awesome.
Guidance.
And how much? What's that
Guidance
add-on for guidance?
would be a D4.
D4. Got it. Roll. No, I have 15. Almost. Ooh. 23 total.
Oh. So as you're examining him, because it's a physical, you have to physically touch him. The moment you touch him, you almost shrivel away because he feels like dried out parchment, and you're afraid if you put too much pressure on him, he will turn to dust. Like it's like the water's been sucked out of him. There's nothing left. But as you're going through and you're examining him, whatever this is not physical. You're pretty sure there is some sort of magic involved in this. Obviously, there's got to be, because he's still alive, watching you, even though he looks like a freaking dried out chrysalis. His skin is very leathery to the touch and almost kind of reminds you of hides that are kind of halfway through the tanning process. It's kind of disturbing. His hair is very, very coarse, like you'd expect on an older person. But it also feels very delicate, and you're afraid that if you put any pressure on it, it'll all just fall right out of his head.
So this guy's basically a living corpse.
Basically. Billy!
And you do realize that Halloween is next month, right?
Huh?
You do realize that Halloween is next month, right?
Yeah.
And?
Then why do I feel like I invited to a horror movie?
It's autumn, so it's appropriate.
We're getting there.
We just have to keep an eye
What's a
out for
powerful
the
pleasure
ice
without
huge.
a dead corpse guarding it? Well, I guess he's not dead, but
I mean, it could be worse. It could look like this.
No, I don't want to know. I don't want to see it.
That's not that bad. At least he's not covered in cobwebs.
Hmm.
That's the Fisher
Fair
King
enough.
from Merlin, the BBC Merlin.
Oh, okay. Well, honestly, how you're describing everything, what it makes me think of is King Theoden in Lord of the Rings.
That's kind of what I was
Yeah, a little
initially
bit.
thinking.
Yep.
I was thinking somewhere between that and an actual mummy people dig up in Egypt.
Yeah, like some weird combination of it.
I would think a bog
Like,
body
this is
would be
what-
more accurate.
Ooh, yeah, that's actually a really good description.
What? Sorry, I missed what you said.
I said, a bog body would be more accurate than an Egyptian mummy.
Yeah. Whew.
Since I don't have a specific spell for it, is there anything I can do to see what kind of, I guess, the source of the magical effect is?
You could try an Arcana check.
I have nothing for this.
I mean, guidance is a cantrip. I can't keep using it.
And I can use Bardic Inspiration up to 4 times a day, so I've only used it once so far.
Yeah, that'll probably be very helpful at this moment in time.
Guidance.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say I'll just kind of pat Airden on the arm. Is like, I think you can figure this out. I believe in you.
Yeah, that's why we're here. Moral support.
How much do I remember from listening to all the druids? I pay attention to medical school, but I pay attention to the magical side. And what was your bardic inspiration die?
D8.
D8.
just occurred to me that the image that keeps popping into my head of the Fisher King is like a modified version of the bone organ from the Goonies.
Dear, as soon as you gave that description of what is a store of treasure without a dead body to guard it, that's exactly what my brain went to. I was like, okay, Mr. Goonie.
Everything all together, total of 18.
Hot damn, you have no idea what is happening here. You've never seen magic like this. You know that there's like spells that druids will use to dry plants out so they can burn them for incense, or to dry out hides quicker so they can tan them and use them for shelters and clothing and things. But you've never known them to ever use anything like that on a person, or let alone on anything alive, and still keeping them alive. This is not druidic magic at all. This is sketch. You're not entirely sure if it's necessarily fey magic, but whoever's using this is breaking some natural laws here, and that usually does not fly with the fae.
He should have invested in plot armor.
Airden or the Fisher King?
The Fisher King.
Okay.
Airden already has it.
Airden's the majority stakeholder in plot armor.
Alright,
Would detect magic be of any help in this situation?
Good what?
Detect magic?
I think we've established that there is magic here.
But the thing is, with detect
Yeah,
magic,
but
it
if you-
can tell you what school of magic it is, if any.
Yes. Detect magic would work in this case.
I'm gonna try. Because, I have a feeling that Brina's seeing the confusion on Airden's face. It's like, oh no.
Airden's like,
No, it's not only confusion. Like, while he was doing the physical, like, the smile was slowly dripping away from him, like, what the hell is happening? And then he actually, like, steps away to try and figure out, okay, what kind of magical effect is this? And then it slowly and then the horror only grows on his face, like, what the hell?
Okay, so I cast detect magic.
Okay.
Do I roll for that?
I don't think you do. It'll say in the spell description.
No.
No.
No rolling for detect
I
magic.
don't roll
No,
for it.
it's not a rolling one. But different things do happen, so I need to.
My first thought was to cast it, like somebody should cast Dispel Magic. I was like, there's no way Dispel Magic at its level is going to fix this problem. But that doesn't stop me from thinking somebody should.
No. So as you're concentrating on this and you're kind of feeling your way through, Brina, you start to feel very uncomfortable. It's like a cold dread is starting to fill you. This is not. You realize this is not good magic. This is not natural magic. That this is bad. And as your spell finally takes hold and starts showing you, I need you to give me a which one do I want to do? Trying to think how. Come on.
If
Don't
this
worry.
is a situation where in 3.5 they would say a will save, that would be wisdom.
No, I know. I'm trying to decide.
She's trying to choose between Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Give me a Constitution save.
+5.
+5? Why?
Because you're within
Everything
10
is
feet of me.
awesome.
Because Erden's awesome.
Literally, it's a oral protection, I think. Yeah.
I mean, basically.
With the extra +5.
What?
12.
12?
That's with the extra +5.
Brina, you suddenly feel sick. Like, not like physically sick. You're feeling like feverish sick. And you lose concentration on your spell. And as you do, that cold dread starts to leave, but you don't feel well at all. And I will say, Miss Passive Perception Queen, Brina looks green. Brina is sweating profusely. She looks like she's gone into a cold sweat. She looks like she might pass out.
Alright, Rada is going to kneel down next to Brina and you just do the kind of hold that a person does when the person next to them is sick. Feeling ill. You doing alright, Brina?
Magic is not natural, not normal, not good, not good, not good, not good. And yeah, I'm not feeling so good either.
I don't know. Can I do I guess a lay on hands effect? I mean, it's supposed to be used for like poison and disease, but can it be used to help Brina in this situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Erna like see Roddick being concerned and then like put a hand on Brina's back and use 5 points of lay on hands to try and ease her.
You instantly feel better, Brina. The warmth is coming back to her skin. The sweating is starting to stop. The color's coming back to her face.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, detect magic is just got filled with a horrible cold sense of dread. And that magic is not natural at all. It's bad. I don't know.
Bad juju.
Bad juju. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's bad. Fisher King's in trouble.
Must have been powerful as well.
So in my very first D&D group, every time something bad happened, Tyrell would start doing a special routine to try and get rid of it. And so he'd go around going, bad juju, bad juju, bad juju, bad juju, like trying to jinx the DM. And the sad thing is, it often works.
Why can I see this happening in my head and Tyrell would totally do that.
Well, like what is it? Dead Man's Chest, where he goes, black spot. Ooh.
Exactly.
The spell didn't tell you at all anything more specific?
Was there anything more specific that I got other than that it's bad and cold dread and not natural gem? What did I get any type of pool of magic?
No, because you failed your constitution save. So it did tell you, but you did not recognize what it was because you got... It was such a feeling of unnaturalness that it affected you physically.
Okay. Sadly, that's all I was able to get. Because I started feeling so poorly, I couldn't figure out what type of magic it is. Other than bad and unnatural.
Erden,
Hmm?
I want you to give me another Arcana check at advantage after hearing the way she's describing this.
Okay. Holy cow.
Oh.
I'm grabbing this.
Is it a 1 in 400 chance?
Damn it, it turned off. Okay. And yeah. Where's it,
Look
Amy?
at
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Two at once. The 1 in 400 chance.
Erden,
Wait.
it's suddenly
Nat 20 on a disadvantage.
these memories suddenly come back to you. These lessons on advantage.
Okay.
Yeah. So these memories start flooding back to you, these lessons that you were half paying attention to. But this one time you started really listening because Taliesin was talking about a type of forbidden magic. And that absolutely no druid was to ever go near it because it could seriously damage their chances of being a good druid. And that the Fae do not touch this magic because it is inherently evil. And you remember talking about how messing with death is a dangerous game. That once somebody has died, you allow them to move on and do what their spirit needs to do. You do not try to bring them back. Because if you do, that's a line that cannot be uncrossed. And you realize that what she must have felt was necromancy. Mm.
Great.
And as a paladin, as somebody who heals, you feel your skin start to crawl. No wonder you felt so uncomfortable touching this man as you gave him his physical. Because he should not be alive.
Then I can see a chill running through your armor. What is it?
How do I
Ern
word
actually actually has to stand up and take a few steps away and recompose himself.
But
He has been affected by necromantic magic. Necromancy. Violation of the laws of death.
Rada, you will also be familiar that necromancy is not a path to cross. This is not a line to cross. That even Hades would be like, no, they are dead. Leave them alone.
Which
Not because he wants them, because we all know that Hades does not care whether you're dead or alive. But he's like, once they're dead, they're dead. That's it. Kaput.
and there's only one supposed exception to this, but that guy failed the test.
Yep.
Upon
So,
hearing this from Aridin and whatever Rana just said, it's like, I'm going to also start moving away from the Fisher King. Like, I'm backing up. But even though I'm just a little bard, it's like, That don't sound good. Especially
and I
the
would,
violation of the laws of death. It's like, no.
yeah, well, I would say, so because you are also Fae and because of the culture you come from,
Mm-hmm.
this is absolutely not okay.
Yeah.
Your people believe in all kinds of curses, and if you're cursed with necromancy, that's cause to be kicked out of the village because you are no longer natural. You're no longer, yeah. So
like Brina's gonna like kind of start looking at her hands. It's like I didn't touch him, but I don't know if my spell caused anything to happen to me. I hope not.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Necromancy is powerful, but it's so powerful it actually has to be focused. It violates everything, so it cannot risk spreading.
yeah, so basically what you felt, Brina, was that because your magic is good and natural, it reacted violently
Again.
to this other magic. Kind of think of it as like two ends of a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
You're a North Pole, he's a South Pole right now, and they cannot mix. So you bounced off of him and it made you a little dizzy.
Opposites attract with magnets.
Yeah, this better.
Sorry, both North Poles, sorry. I know what I meant. Both North Poles, and so you bounced off of each other.
I think I knew what you meant, even though it didn't come out right.
Yeah.
Like I knew the concept that you were trying to get at.
I was picturing two red ends, and apparently my mouth decided not to say what my brain was thinking. Yeah. Think of it here. Here's a better analogy. Think of it like water and oil. They cannot mix.
Mm-hmm.
You can pour water into the oil, but the water is immediately going to go straight through it, and they're going to separate.
Yep.
Yeah, good thing that this isn't a matter-antimatter situation.
At least it's not like cancer, because that is just violating all the rules, but spreads violently.
Little do you know, but that is how cancer was created.
Can you repeat that, please? I didn't catch the beginning of it.
So little did you know that that was how cancer was created.
And to be fair, one of the first things that causes cancer to be able to do what it does is it turns off all of the parts of the cell that make it so that it can, kill itself when it goes seriously wrong.
Yeah.
Cancer equals necromancy. Crap.
Guys, today we learned that cancer is just a form of necromancy.
I mean, think about it. How's the only way you could get rid of it? Radiation. Which is also not good for you.
So
You're gonna have to find some uranium and place it on the king.
But we can't just use any uranium, though. We have to figure out how to purify it first.
Uranium-230. It's got to be specifically that isotope.
Oh, we can't get away with 235?
Mm-mm.
No, it's too powerful.
Ugh.
It'll just circle back on itself.
I don't know if Idea can help with this. Idea, we have a new fancy isotope for you to work with. Oh, what is it?
The thing is that while Idea can be very excitable, I think the moment Idea heard uranium-230, she'd be like, yeah, I'm not touching that. He can die. It's fine. He's not my king.
Idea has any clue what it is. She goes, I'd like to live to see the next day.
Good point.
Like, no thanks.
If she doesn't know what it is, she could very likely get herself in a lot of trouble. Ooh, new rare earth metals. Sounds like fun.
I think if anyone is going to know what uranium is, it would be Tong.
Exactly. What I just got a funny. This is not really in character because I don't think Brina would be saying this right now. But I'm like, I wonder if Idea's wild magic crystal necklace could be of any help here, or if it would just make things worse.
Now that would be matter, an antimatter reaction.
We have found something sufficiently magically dangerous. We're going to throw more magical danger at it and run in the other direction.
Have you
Basically,
seen liquid, shattered, plasmified diamond before? Neither have I. Let's see it.
Dana probably knows how unnatural this stuff is, and that probably qualifies as sufficient threats to throw wild magic at that might solve the problem. And probably will not actually solve the problem, but make it worse.
I was really hoping that it might be one of those like fancy quirks where the chaos magic crystal actually does something good for once. I can dream. I can dream.
Dana seems to think she's gonna get it to do something good. The next time she finds something that magic is no good at working with.
I think she just wants to find another one of those creepy shadow magic eating creatures and just toss it at it.
True.
So it was the Fisher King that was resurrected. Or did he do the resurrecting?
No. Well,
So-
actually, you don't know.
Okay.
Or did he get held in a stasis so that he never aged? That's kind of necromantic, right? Maybe.
Yes, that is.
Immortality. Immortality is necromancy. Oh wait, yeah, I guess that is. Immortality is also necromancy.
Jesus is a necromancer. Just saying. The only difference is he has authority.
Yeah. I'm saying like horrible, but he has
Sorry,
the
you
authority
cut out.
for what he did.
What did you say? You cut out.
I was saying this sounds bad, but he technically had authority to do what he did. So it's the one time and it's kind of the one and only time that it's okay.
Yep. So we now know
Erno-
sort of what happened.
Yeah. So Rada will.
Erno pull out Taliesin.
Yeah. Rada is going to stand up and say, like, I think this might be beyond our capabilities.
Taliesin on the Fisher King's lap. Taliesin, please tell us how bad this is. It's probably a really bad idea.
Why do I have a feeling that Taliesin would literally like thump the drum hard enough to clatter onto the floor? It's like, don't put me anywhere near to that stuff. What is wrong with you?
Okay. So you pulled Taliesin out?
Yep. They'll kind of just knock on its side, say, "Hey, Taliesin, I've got a question for you."
You don't get a response.
Or like kind of shaking a little like a tampering, like, "Hello."
Nothing.
Oh, yes.
Taliesin? Brina like puts her hand up and tries to tap on the drum really lightly. It's like, Taliesin?
Nothing.
Oh.
Well, perfect. We have two issues now. Brain, is there any magic affecting the drum that you can't answer us?
I will gladly cast Detect Magic again on the drum.
And if you want, that's one that you can do as a ritual, so that you're not.
I'm
Yeah.
not spending spell slots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll do that as a ritual then.
It's just going to take a little time. It's going to take about 10 minutes to ritually cast it. But it gives you 10 minutes to kind of think about what your options are for this poor king.
Yeah, it's like I was gonna say I'll kind of hold my hands up to Erden's like, here, hand me Taliesin and I'll try and figure out what's going on with him if you want to figure out the Fisher King.
Got it. Thank you.
I think we heard from him fairly recently. I'm trying to remember the last time we heard from him, though.
I don't know, go over to Ryan and just say, do you remember anything more specific about necromancy, or was everyone just so they just mention it and then stop talking about it like they'd somehow get cursed by it?
Well, that was kind of my question. Is there any way that those affected by necromancy have been cured?
Give me a history check.
Ah, great. That's not something Rhoda's good at.
Ern will try and give the help action with what he knows.
Yes, thanks a lot, Erden. You turned my 17 into a 3. Let's see, history.
You're welcome.
That's a 18.
An 18?
Yes.
Um.
It occurred to me, so many gods of death have death as sanctity.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah,
the
like,
perverter of death? I don't think there's any gods like that.
No, I think that space is filled by men.
yep. So as far as you are aware, the closest they ever got to necromancy is that when somebody would die, people would go to the oracle and make sure that, you know, their spirit went someplace that good, that, you know, they would go to like the fields of Elysian and they weren't, you know, being,
Thrown in Tartarus.
you know, yeah, dragged into Tartarus and all of that.
Tartarus.
Some people would view the seasonal changes from like winter to spring as necromantic because you're restoring life. And so some people would associate it with Persephone, but there was never anybody really brought back from the dead. The only story you're aware of came from Tong, who was talking about some guy in the Middle East a couple 100 years ago. That not only did he supposedly raise somebody from the dead, but he came back from the dead after he was crucified.
Christians have lots of good coming back from the dead stories.
But nobody's really sure if that's true, and honestly, Tong claims that it happened, but like, you know, sometimes it's hard to know whether Tong's just pulling your leg or not.
Oh yeah, he only lived for 3 days, by the way. That was some terrible spellcraft. Ugh, embarrassing.
You know what's interesting is that Tong is about as old as this guy.
Yeah. So like, she was too young to really know what was going on, but she's heard the stories, and a lot of people seem to think it happened, so maybe it did. But it's also hard to tell whether Tong actually believes that this happened or just kind of is helping circulate the rumors, because why the hell not?
And if it's a religious thing, then she's probably putting a bad spin on it.
Yeah.
Necromancy is bad, guys, and these guys are the worst. They didn't do it once, they did it twice.
Well, only humans have ever at least attempted it. And it usually doesn't end well, other than this 1 or 2 times. But even then, it didn't last, so.
The only things that I can think of would be a story that Tong told me, but it's Tong. How reliable can that be?
More reliable than Tooth.
I wish you were there to actually say that.
Yeah,
But I do like the little echo.
That's true.
Okay, so now you've got your spellcast, Brina.
Having too much fun being quippy without being in.
There is no magic on this drum.
What?
There's no magic.
Taliesin has been stripped away from us.
Alright, I need to go to the bathroom. Think on this.
Okay.
What do you mean, think on this? Brina's gonna burst into tears! That's what she's thinking on! Like, literally, as soon as I finish that spell, Brina, like, just bursts into tears. It's like... And then she's just, like, hugging the drum. Not really quite sure what to do now.
When did we last hear from Taliesin? Does anybody remember?
I think I want to hear from him.
It was just before we left for this island because he was talking with Tong about sleeping better.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure that we've heard from him. If not, maybe in the other world since we got here.
We haven't heard from him since Londinium.
Yeah.
Not directly, anyway. And think about who we've encountered since then.
Oh. But yeah, you guys, Aaron and Rada, you're just gonna see Brina burst into tears as she's hugging this drum.
Is something wrong, Brina?
There's no magic on this drum. Yes, it's gone.
Rada will look at Ern and just be like, I think that this is beyond our capabilities.
Ern's just gonna. Ern won't say anything. He's gonna be slowly flitting through emotions, like horror, surprise, confusion, concern. Then rage for just a few seconds, and just sigh.
So Brina burst into tears, huh?
Uh-huh.
Erden went through the stages of grief again.
Uh-oh.
All silently, though, just the flickers of emotion crossing his face.
I don't think our healing magic will be able to do anything. Unless your healing hands can do something. I think we've exhausted our means.
I'll just nod and start walking towards the Fisher King. And just placing his hand on one of the Fisher Kings, he'll use 10 points of just plain old lay on hands just to see what happens either to his body or earns internal magic reacting to it.
Then, can you give me a Constitution save?
Absolutely. $18.
You feel immediate backlash. What was the healing that you gave?
Just 10 HP.
Okay, you get 10 points removed from you as you're like, you feel that magic bounce back at you, and like it's like a shock, an electric shock on you.
Yeah. I'll actually like step away and be a little surprised at it. Is there any physical effect afterwards?
No.
Ern will turn to the Fisher King and try and make eye contact with him and just say, I would hate to speculate, but I fear your condition will be lasted for a while longer before whatever you are being forced through has gone its course according to those of greater power than those who have come and will come to try and help you. I don't know how long it will take, but I fear it will be a while longer. I'm sorry.
His eyes just
And
kind of
Ern will walk away.
drop.
Ern walks back to your. Let's leave.
As they are
Rita's
making
just
their
gonna
way,
be hugging that drone.
as they're walking to the door, Rada will give a bow and say, "I am sorry we could not do more."
They just
Ern will
kind of
knock
stare
on
at
the door.
you. You hear a click and it opened. Well,
No.
yeah. Come on. Are you all right, little one?
Unrelated but equally awful news.
Ah, that's a pity. Well,
How many people?
anything you can tell us?
Well, first off,
Yeah.
what do you know? Because I would hesitate to say what we know without knowing who knows what's currently affecting him.
How much does he know? Admittedly, not much. I don't know, 20 or so years ago, he stopped moving. He couldn't get out of his throne. We tried. There was some time where we'd be able to help him and he'd be able to walk with aid. And then his speech became slurred. And then finally, within a matter of weeks, he stopped moving and talking altogether. And when I say 20 years ago, that's my best guess because I genuinely do not remember. It's like I've been blocked from those memories. And I know I'm not the only one. But I was the king's personal guard. And I feel like I'm the only one who, aside from his manservant, really knows that anything happened. It's like the people are aware that he's sick, but they're not aware that he's this sick. They think he has like a cold. And I know I told my cousin once, and within 2 days he forgot again. Like he doesn't remember what I told him. So I tried to tell him again, but he like almost instantly forgets it.
Listen, I remember. I have questions about how much you will remember of this conversation. Do not mistake us.
I haven't had any problems remembering any of the conversations I've had with people coming in trying to help him. We've had plenty.
Is there no that when we say this, we do not mean it lightly, as taboo as it is. We strongly suspect this is necromantic magic affecting him.
You're not the first ones to tell us this. You're the second, but most people had no idea what was going on. And many of them got sick or passed out or, well, one of them didn't come back from it. So powerful was their aversion to it, which is how their group figured out that it was probably necromancy. But I honestly could not tell you who would be bold enough, brazen enough to use that. In theory, it shouldn't even work on this island. But
Why shouldn't it work here?
because this island is tied to Rhiannon. Nothing that messes with life should be able to work here.
Hmm.
With that being said, this island didn't used to look like this. Not every the island did not used to look like this. Yes, we have a lot of diamond here, but it wasn't all made of diamond. We had actual growth. And like I said, I can't remember when this all went down, but about the time the king got sick, anything that was truly alive stopped growing. The people don't realize it, but there have not been any children born in the last couple decades.
But the kids that in the family that we're staying with, their kids look to be younger than that.
Their children are probably 50, 60 years old. We don't age very fast, little one.
If nothing's growing, they might not be aging at all.
So the 4-year-old we've met might not be actually 4, but he's paused at 4.
Possibly. I mean, I can't remember the last time I looked in the mirror and thought I looked any different. But like I said, we age very slowly. The one fact I know for certain is that we have not had any infants born. You will not find a baby anywhere on this island. The animals have all been turned to diamond. The plants have all been turned to diamond. We've had to learn how to harvest what we can from these animals and these plants to eat Because while we're not aging, we still have basic biologic needs. We even have to filter our water because if we're not careful, that water crystallizes.
The manservant of
Sorry,
Is-
all I heard was manservant.
the manservant you spoke of, is he, as you said, he was as aware of things going on as you are? Are his memories being affected of things, or is he like you and able to remember people that have come to help the king and things like that?
I don't know. I have not seen him in over a decade. I do not know where he went. When it seemed that the king was never going to get better, it's like he lost hope. And so he left.
Do you remember his name?
Yes, but I'm going to make sure that I pronounce it correctly for you.
Thank you.
Saoirse.
Okay. His name is Saoirse.
Saoirse.
I'll put his name in the roleplay. Whoops. Don't do that.
Thank you.
The search party never found him.
No.
Sir, what is your name?
What the? Ardal.
Would you mind putting that in the Discord too?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Spelled how it sounds.
That time. I mean, to be fair, sometimes Irish names are spelled as theirs, as they sound, but most of the time, no. Oh, I appreciate the attempt. I fear that this is never going to be rectified.
I mean, it could be a long shot, but maybe Tong knows something, or maybe there is something at the Library of Alexandria that might have something on this. I am not hopeful, but it is an option.
Well, I don't know what a tongue is, but
One of our
if it
companions.
well, if they know something, at any slim chance we could use it.
I mean, she is a wizard. She is very knowledgeable in magic.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. Well, I guess in the meantime, is there anything we can help you with?
While we are not in a hurry to get anywhere, is any port on the island? And if so, where, what connection or islands are closest?
We have a port just below our cliff face here. The nearest island is probably Chernanog.
Yes. I only asked because we were brought here directly from the human world.
Ah, I see. How? There's no portals from the human world to the Glass Isle.
It was the deities that brought us here.
You know a deity?
The Lady of the Lake?
I know several.
The Lady of the Lake.
And Brina's just nodding.
Yeah, there's someone
Still
who could.
the drunk, but just nodding and rather solemn. Like, Brina's actually solemn for once. Like, her asking the names wasn't her cheerful, normal excitement about the names. It was just almost to, like, distract her from her internal grief.
Well, she's certainly someone who could help. Any chance you could reach out to her?
Rada looks at Erden.
Brina looks at Erden.
Erden shrugs.
Well,
I'll add her to my list of discussions.
Let us
I
go see
appreciate
if
that.
Tong knows anything.
Thank you. I'll be here, so if you find anything out, you can always just send a message my way or just come here. Tell them that you're wanting to talk to our doll.
Will do.
Thank you for your time.
Alright. So while you've been having this conversation, he's walked you back to the main doors. I'll let you out. I'm gonna quickly switch gears for a moment. Idea, can I get an intelligence check and a dexterity check?
Crafting or just regular?
What was that?
Crafting or just regular?
Crafting, yeah. Whoa! This-
What?
Hello, Ivan.
You're late, Ivan.
The intelligence check is a 27.
Yeah.
The dex is an 8.
So you're picking up a lot of what you're being taught. However, your fingers are really struggling with applying the knowledge that you are taking on. Why do you have a... Is that a doorstop? It's lunch, guys. Use the doorstop.
Oh my
did you get that?
Cool.
So we're demoing some old buildings. We're demoing a hangar and like one of their aviation shops at the airport. And this was
Mhm.
in the old shop. And so I picked it up. Because that shop literally got eaten by an excavator, like in a day. The entire thing went away in a day.
Wow.
I grabbed
Nice.
mouse doorstop. Anyways,
Self-piece.
I'm gonna go to
Like-
bed. Hi, bye.
Hi.
No,
This is my new doorstop. It is a mouse.
Ivan,
Love it.
before you go, the temple trip was Friday, correct?
Yes, 4:30.
All right,
We're meeting at the institute at 4:30.
all right.
You're
I
having a trip on a Friday?
don't know if I can be there or not.
Yeah, we have a temple trip.
I say that knowing perfectly well that we have our temple trips on Wednesdays, but I also live like 10 minutes from ours. So
Yeah, we gotta go to Helena now.
I wondered if you would. That must be nice. It's a slightly shorter trip.
Like
Mhm.
20 minutes.
Yeah. That's why I say slightly.
And yet, despite being here for 4.5 years, I have yet to go to a Montana temple.
Oh,
Really?
what?
Oh, please remedy that on Friday.
That's what I'm planning on doing. That's why I was asking to double check that.
Yay!
And now that it's recorded, so I can more easily remember.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yes. You'll have to show this to Megan and let her admire.
That is sick. Like, I almost
Oh.
should take it to the antique shop and see like if they have an idea of how old it is. Is there like a date on it at all?
No, it's cast iron.
Wow. You should take a picture of it, Ivan, and text it to me. And I'll text it to her so she won't touch it. I suppose, do you have her number?
I haven't talked to her in so long. I have Megan Cozart.
That would be her sister.
465484373.
Yep, that's her. You can just text it straight to her. She'll be very amused.
I don't know if my phone will focus on it though.
Well, now we're going to have to hope that my YouTube channel never becomes popular enough that people go through old videos. Otherwise, Megan's going to get some calls, possibly pranks. Unless someone wants to like teach me how to edit live streams.
Eric probably could actually.
I mean, I do independently record these sessions and don't upload them, so if you need a different copy,
To
it
fiddle
probably
with.
doesn't have any balancing properly done.
So anyways, I just wanted you to see
Alright.
that. That was what I was excited to show you guys.
Hi, bye.
Sounds good. Alright. Go to sleep.
Bye, Ivan.
So are we gonna switch into Wednesdays officially then?
Yeah.
Okay. Boy.
Boy.
Bye.
What was I saying? Oh, you had a 26 and a what?
8.
I had a 27 and an 8. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you've taken in this information, but you're having a difficult time applying it because this is so different than the stuff that you're working with. And it's not like you're damaging anything, it's that you're having a really hard time getting this to cut at all. And he's being really like patient and everything.
Goes over
But I
the
think
concept. Did you get this? I'm like, I got it. I'm still figuring it out. I
I
can
can't
spit it back
say
to
I'm
you.
frustrated. Like it shouldn't be this hard.
Concept.
Yeah. So yeah, by the end of the day, he's finally like, okay, I'm gonna just take these now. We're gonna set them aside. We'll try again later, okay? Let's go home, let's get some food, and we'll get some good rest and we'll try again tomorrow.
Adea looks,
Totally dadding you.
Adea looks slightly defeated that she hasn't already figured this out, but she likes the optimistic attitude, and she's like, okay. And she's still super excited. Like even though we're putting down the tools, she wants nothing more than to talk about everything she's learned and be like, did I understand this correctly? And I think this makes sense. I'm doing this right. Did I just not apply it here? And she's going on and on and on, even though we put the tools down.
He's
I'm
just
really
kind of
feeling that.
he's doing the typical dad, just I know. You know, he's just keeping her
Away from
going
patting
while
her
we're
on the
walking
head.
home.
I think we found
So-
Dea's dad.
He's like half a step away from just patting her on the head.
Yep.
Today is so sad though.
You will make it back to the house at about the same time as the other three.
Two diametrically opposed moods.
She's so Rada. It's really easy for you to pick up on the dad. As Idea's like trying to talk through what she did. She's like excited, but you can tell she's frustrated and totally oblivious to the fact that the rest of you are there.
I have to say, I'm pretty sure I'm staring at Idea. It's like
Dad is oblivious to where you're at too. He is like, you can tell that he's actually probably drowned her out, and he's totally not listening to a thing she's saying.
Oh, does Adea notice?
Probably during that replaying that old baseball game in his head that he did to try and recover from the day's work before going home.
Adea does have a +8 in insight.
Well, that uses insight to see if he's actually listening or not.
Don't do this to yourself.
I mean, I do think Adea would catch on eventually and be like, is he actually listening? Like,
It's about the time that you start to wonder that you hear this, and like two kids come barreling out of the house, and they're just like super excited. He's definitely not paying attention to you at this point because he's picking the kids up and he's saying hi to them.
I definitely feel like Adea would care to have like a back and forth and like notice that there is some conversation going on. They do actually care and not just like, yep, whatever you say. Like,
Yeah.
Rada goes over to Idea, just like pats her on the back and just gives a "you tried" look.
I learned a lot.
I can see.
I haven't figured it out yet, though.
I can see.
I will figure it out. We're not leaving tomorrow, are we?
Probably not.
No.
Rita's just kind of staring at Idea. It's like, I'm so proud that you stopped for food. But you're also seeing Rena like just hugging this drum, looking really awkward, like she has tear stains down her face. Like Rena looks a little bit of a wreck. But at the same time, it's like, I'm so proud you stopped for food. Glad that you learned so much.
Like
You're welcome to do this right now, Isaiah. If you want.
Alrighty. Yes, I did roll it just in case. It disappeared from my screen. It was a 24 or 25 though.
I'm gonna just give it for all three of these. So Brina is upset. She is visibly upset. Something has torn her up emotionally. Rhoda's kind of got her serious face on. Like, something has happened. She's thinking,
Nothing good has happened. But it's like
yeah.
I need to maintain face or cohesion for the party.
Erden's kind of all over the place. Like, his emotions are like fluttering, like somebody flipping through the channels on cable. Like, you see anger and you see frustration and you see sadness and you see what the hell and like just all of this just flickering through his face, and you're like, something happened.
Like, but like on the surface, it's like this very deep in thought. He's trying to. It seems like he's trying to unravel the universe at this point in time.
Adea looked somewhat dejected because she realized that she was mostly not getting listened to in her excitement. But she looks at these three, and it's almost like even though she's very upbeat and normally doesn't seem to be paying any attention, it gives the feeling almost like she stared into their souls for just a second, and it's like, what went wrong?
Everyone looks equivalently alike. Everyone's like, "Wow, you guys all look like someone took your sandwich, that stepped on it, then it was thrown away without your consent, and then set on fire." It had a wedgie for good measure.
My sandwich. It was innocent.
I threw it on the ground.
I feel like there's a reference being made here that I don't actually get, but it's still funny.
I think there's two different references, one of which I get and one of which I do not.
I hope that Marco's getting the reference I'm making.
I've gotten all the references, and I'm both happy and disappointed in myself.
I got Jen's. My sister was very amused by that video.
Rhoda will say, "We will talk about it after dinner," and she'll look at Erden and Brina, like, bring tongue out when we're ready to talk about things. Right? Yeah, bring tongue out when you.
Adea will look at Rada, and I believe in Greek, although I guess it doesn't matter to the rest of the party, but she will intentionally pick the language that she believes is most unknown by the party that Rada will understand and be like, okay, more waiting. More waiting.
Owen will kind of look between all of you, and he's picking up that something's going on. He's like, would you like to bring your meal out here so you can talk without children around?
If you don't mind.
Yeah, that's perfectly okay. It's totally understandable. Trust me, these two are nosy. Is your brother home yet? He'll ask the other two. No, and Mom's getting real annoyed. It looks like I'm not going to get dinner when I want it, because now I'm going to have to go and find out where he went. Teenagers. Driving nuts. You have children, don't let them grow up.
Yeah, my father tried to do that. It didn't work out for him, though.
Well, he did it the wrong way, obviously. Gotta make it so they never walk.
Erden kind of in a little bit of shock because it's like one of the first times he's talked about his family. It's like it's not like she looks like she didn't think he had a dad because I'm not that dumb. But it's more like you voluntarily mentioned your family. Okay. but like doesn't say any of that out loud, but you can read it on her face because like any walls that Brina might put up to like not necessarily defend herself, but to be like reserved and not completely over bubbly around everybody else. Like, yeah, you're gonna see probably a lot of what she's thinking just because she's in despair over Taliesin.
Adea in
logically people have fathers.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much for you to grab meals. The meal is already cooked and set out. She's even got stuff set out on plates for everyone, right numbers, so you can just grab and go.
Adea, not getting immediate gratification out of things gets she's not upset, but she gets very fidgety and mentally fidgety in this case. So she starts there's just small random thaumaturgy things or other going on occasionally. Like I don't know if there's any like candles around, but if there are, she would be changing the colors of them. She's definitely changing the colors of her eyes, or like she might occasionally be like fidgeting with a gemstone that she might just cast light on.
Ando is fascinated. He's just like, listen, look at the candle, look at the candle, look at the candle. Like,
She picks all kinds of weird colors too. It might be green, it might be purple. We might make it, like blue for a little bit, but it's going back. This is something crazy. Maybe it can be pink this time.
Neon orange or something.
It'd be pretty funny if the mom like looked over and it was completely normal that time.
Yes, honey, I see it. Oh, Mom, it was purple. I'm sure it was, sweetie. But you are welcome to grab your meals and head out. Somebody will have to let Tong know what's going on. Hello.
Who wants to be that brave soul?
Okay. Like Ern doesn't even question it, he just starts walking upstairs.
Like Brina hasn't let go of the drum, and she has like her plate in her hand, but it has like the drum in the other, and like she looks up at Rada's question because it's like, oh, I should probably go. Oh, there goes Ayrton. Okay. Like realizing that she should probably go find Tong herself, but also just like
Adea changes the color of her eyes again. I mean, I could make a signal.
Ayrton can go grab her. It's okay.
Alright.
Adea primarily chooses gemstone colors that keep switching her eyes between.
Ern walks up to Tong's room, just like kind of like knocks on the door. Hey Tong, I met the Fisher King, and he's definitely affected by magic of some sort. Would you mind coming now for both food and talking about that?
You look in the door and you see like Tong writing with her or trying to write with her right hand, but it's quite evident that she is, despite how old she must be, still not used to writing with said hand. This is, I take it this is more of a demand from Mama Rada than a request.
Well, it's kind of a request on the magic part, not the food part.
You need to come eat. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But
I just think you'll find more joy out talking about the type of magic.
It involves uranium.
What was that?
It involves uranium.
Alright, Tong will...
You find out that the wild magic necklace is just magically stasis uranium.
Tong will get her plate and will come out to join the rest of the group.
Woo! Okay. So let's skip a bit. Okay, you guys are all out by the stables now. Joining Rada. I assume somebody grabbed a plate for her. So that she didn't have to, eat straw.
I think I
Yep.
probably asked Medea to pick one up for Rada because I'm too busy with the drum. Otherwise, I would have
Ern
normally
walks
grabbed
out
it.
with like Ern walks out with 2 plates on his hands and another one on top of his head.
You're getting Brina's too. Or you're just that
Just
hungry.
the drum, so that I have like the drum like awkwardly like after the front of me and then my plate. But I asked Medea or somebody to get Rada's plate because otherwise I would have.
Medea's carrying her plate, but it's definitely lit up.
His plate's lit.
The light spell has transitioned to her plate. It is very bright.
Aaron grabbed the tongs, Rada's, and his.
Tom will come out with like a leather shoulder pad with upon which Gausha will be resting.
Sorry, go on.
Right, she's got like a leather shoulder pad that Gausha is sitting on because talons won't feel good on one's shoulders,
No.
regardless if they're familiar or not.
Looks adorable though.
Does anyone know where Tooth is?
I will be. Oh, I guess I'll be Tooth and Circumference for now.
Oh yeah, and Circumference. I was like,
I don't think Circumference was doing much. Wasn't he being kind of a homebody?
no, he went out and was eating food.
Oh, that's right. He was being a foodie.
He's being a
He's probably
foodie.
still being a foodie.
Yep.
So he might not want dinner.
Raw will have basically everyone sit in a circle as we eat. So, for those of you that were not there, doing your own things, Odin, Brina, and I went to go and see what the issue was with the Fisher King. And we have very grave concerns about the origin of his afflictions. And Ra will look around and make sure that no one's listening.
Yep. You're alone. The only one who seems to be listening in is Thunderclap.
Mm-hmm. He's like looking in like, ooh, this is going to be interesting.
And with a more hushed voice, she'll say, "We believe that he is being afflicted by necromancy."
Tooth immediately just cringes and he's like, "Are you sure? That's bad.
Very,
Very
very bad.
Thunderclap.
Sure.
Thunderclap reacts kind of violently to hearing that because necromancy could destroy him.
Imagine there's also a significant shudder from the owl familiar.
Yes.
What does Adea know about necromancy now that it's finally been brought up?
Give me an Arcana check.
I don't expect much, but hey.
What?
I don't expect much, but hey. I actually have a +5 in Arcana. I got a 10.
That's enough. Because you went into a field of magic, some of the very first lessons you were taught is to never mess with necromancy. It's not a good thing. That it's one thing to try and speak with the dead, and it is a very different thing to try and bring them back from the dead. And that it is heavily frowned upon. Like, you would be punished severely if you tried it. So it was certainly beat into your head. This is a no-no. Mm-mm.
Today like, yeah, I knew that was a bad idea. Why would I want to try that anyways, though?
That's gross, dude.
You got
It's not a
natural
pretty
greenery
picture.
here. It's much nicer than whatever you're describing. And besides, I want to be in a forge. Those things are supposed to stay dead.
How are you supposed to learn from the great masters of old if you don't resurrect them?
Don't encourage her.
Do
I need to
Entirely
do
out
I
of
need to
character.
roll anything?
Study their works and come to know the next one, or even better, become the next one.
The only reason I had Idea roll is because Idea has a very bad habit of blocking out the information that she doesn't find pertinent.
That makes sense.
The rest of you, having been raised as Fae or having some sort of magic involvement in your life, would know straight up, don't do it. So, like, Tong is well aware, and probably more aware than others, of the consequences of necromancy because she reads a lot.
Well, it's probably been drilled into her head more times than the rest of the party has combined, because
Yeah.
she was trained by her mother. She's read a lot in the Library of Alexandria. The party doesn't know it yet, but she stayed with basically a coven, a monastery.
Yeah. So we're talking a bunch of cultures and things like that that do not look on that with any high regard.
And that monastery is actually part of a religion that puts strict emphasis on purity, which even blood is considered impure.
Yeah. So yeah. The only one who probably has no idea what the significance of this is Circumference.
Yeah.
Because he's human. And not only that, he's a human who has no magic involvement. So he's like, in fact, let's see if he even knows the word. Has he heard this before? Does he have a clue? He has heard the word before. He's heard Roman soldiers use it, so he assumed that it had something to do with Roman culture. Because his people would have absolutely nothing to do with it. He's a Pict. Necromancy, not good. So any of their druids would have never even brought it up because it's inappropriate. So he has heard the word and doesn't really know what it means.
Guys, we've dealt with necromancy before. Not that Adea knows this.
I have a question.
Yep.
Do I need to roll anything to notice if the Keppeldor is reacting to what we're saying? Because I'm assuming we're out by the stables because we're by Thunderclap. And so the Keppeldor can overhear us.
That's true. No, you won't have to roll anything because the Keffeldor will be pretty upset too. It's snorting and stomping its feet. Like, they're like, oh, no. Mm-mm.
I was going to say, if there's anything that, like, do they make any sound that I'm able to understand?
Mostly just a lot of no, 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 no. I mean, the Keffeldor originate from an island based on healing.
Mm-hmm.
And necromancy is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So he's like, huh, no, 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 no.
Brina just kind of like awkwardly, like oddly nodding because she's in agreement with the Keppeldor, but probably nobody else probably understands why she's nodding. Potentially people don't understand why she's nodding. But
And because Tooth is Tooth, after hearing this, he's just like, oh. And what did, okay. So there's that. Can I ask you why you're hugging the drum and haven't let it go?
Rena like just starts tearing up again. It's like,
What did I say? What?
like she just like stops eating and just hugs the drum again and like starts rocking back and forth crying again because
It appears
It seems
the
that
magic from the drum has been drawn away from it. It is no longer magical. And therefore, we no longer have Taliesin with us.
Tooth looks up at you and did you go by cold iron? You should know better than that.
I swear I am not
I already
responsible for this.
do.
Huh?
I swear I am not responsible for this.
I know you're not, Adea.
Tooth will suddenly get this look on his face. Who created that drum? Like, who put Taliesin in there?
I believe it was Rhiannon.
Beating him away.
maybe in
The
a way.
goddess of life.
Yes.
And you went into a room, an enclosed space, with necromancy at work.
Rado will look at Tong and just. Can you? Are you able to sense any magic from the drum at this moment, or was that effect permanent?
I says Tooth, but but necromancy doesn't exactly have an aura, or we would, or all three of us would have been suffering something because of it.
Oh, would you? I mean, godly magic works different, doesn't it? I mean, that's what I was taught as a little munchkin.
In some ways, you
Well,
still
what
are a
if-
munchkin.
Watch it. Well, all I'm saying is, what if Rhiannon's magic is so pure it can't be anywhere near something that evil?
Yeah, well, that's going on. Tong is casting, ritualistically casting Detect Magic. In fact, she'll do it ritualistically, but will only take an action using her feature.
No, it doesn't seem to be showing any signs of magic.
It appears to have been a permanent effect, whatever it was.
Rena's going to start crying harder.
Then why isn't this island more like, say, Rada's homeland?
Well,
I'm not a magician. I don't know.
Well, let me tell you a few things. One, there are still plenty of believers in the Celtic pantheon still kicking around. Also, those affiliated with the Celtic pantheon are far stronger than anyone that isn't, or they's further spread. When was the last time you heard of anyone that wasn't Fey worshipping anyone of the Greco-Roman pantheon?
Circumference just goes, no one?
I think we're a little far away for that for us to even know.
Today just kind of shrugs. He was never that concerned about it.
Oh. After a certain emperor took charge, he outlawed the worship of anyone besides the Jewish one.
Who?
The Christian one?
Oh, you're talking about that Jesus fellow that the Romans keep talking about.
Yes.
Wow. He never seems to be wearing shoes in the pictures they show.
Yeah, it's funny.
I wonder if
Is
that's
that
such a small
this
detail that he would
particular
actually notice.
what's funny is that this particular individual was supposed to have died and then came back 3 days later.
I knew it! He did! He tried to kill the Fisher King!
Of course, that was
Even Adea rolls her eyes.
now the issue with that being the case, Tooth, would be that this Jesus person would have to be as old as I am.
Yeah, and you said he died and came back. Obviously, immortality is part of that. Did you die and come back?
No. Though I came very close. Actually.
Dying or coming back?
Actually, in this instance, I'm going to have Rada roll insight against the deception.
Oh.
Damn. Not high enough.
Yeah, Circumference got a nat 1 and Two's got a 5.
Adea's not paying that much attention
Okay, so
to that specific comment.
If anyone is curious, the deception is 17.
17. Damn. Nope.
Part of me wants to roll just out of sheer curiosity. Are there any bonuses that go against that at all?
Insight?
Just insight? Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you can give yourself bardic inspiration.
I don't think there's anything against that, actually.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, no, 13.
You can do this. I believe in. I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah,
Depending on how positive I am about Taliesin and the drum, there's going to be no self-pep talk. Sorry.
I think I can. I think I can.
Thank you, Tom's the train.
Alright, so everyone just sees Light Tongue having a very calm exterior when she says that. And the dying bit. Multiple times.
Like the toad that tried to eat you?
Yes. Or, during that battle that we had when we were with the Kimry.
Oh, yeah. That was rough. Erden almost died, too.
I don't mean burning the Saxon camp. I mean the battle we had earlier that day.
So what I'm hearing is we have a king that we can't fix, and our drum is now a drum.
Yep.
That's what it sounds like.
Cool. Can we get off the island?
Yes,
Easily.
there's a port.
Oh, cool. So, why are we staying then?
Well, first off, it is late in the day, so we're not going to set out.
Late in the day, because as far as I know, this day could go on for another, like, 48 hours.
That is very true, but no one, not one of us can go with, or can last very long without sleep.
We can't sleep on, wait. You said a port? Why would I want to go anywhere with you morons on a boat?
I feel like there's a story.
Medea is just kind of fidgeting with the necklace now, kind of like thinking, but she's not like. She hasn't decided if we've reached the use case yet.
You know,
Greenest,
Teeth, you
like,
can't just go
state
ahead
of
of us.
despair. Like, she sees Idea with the necklace and, like, looks down at the drum and is like, tries to hold the drum out towards the necklace just as something.
So, is there a reason we're sticking around beyond that? Are we sticking around beyond? Are we just gonna sleep and then go?
Tong, is there anything you know about curing necromancy?
Can we throw wild magic at it?
No.
What if I ask nicely and I say please?
Rena
Then
holding the
do
drum
it for
out
the
to the
people
necklace.
guarding him, not us.
Alright, so what am I rolling?
That would be an Arcana.
Alright.
So
And
Rena holding the drum out towards the magic crystal, the necklace, doesn't do anything, does it?
Nope.
where did that have
She'll
to
just
be
hug
so
the drum
long?
again.
It was a natural 5. But
What are we rolling
mean,
for?
but it's
this is a taboo subject, so.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh no,
sorry,
it's
I-
royalty. That's the issue.
Okay, let me just double check that is well, actually that's still pretty good, all things considered. Shame it just wasn't higher. So despite being a natural 5, and I had Rada use guidance, that's still a 15. No, not the best, but
S-
How many
This is a
years ago was Tom kicked out of the forbidden section of the Library of Alexandria?
maybe. There may have been a
Was it
very
you?
angry owl who said, "Get out of my library." No.
no, Harry Potter just
There's one at
shifted away
Hogwarts.
to her.
Um,
One in Charlene.
Okay, that actually makes
I do not
that
recall
more of an argument for me.
having read about anything in regards to that. Um, you don't typically go looking for taboo subjects, and this is one that is even difficult to find in the Library of Alexandria. As far as you're aware, nobody's found a way to combat it, though some speculate that just like any other kind of magic, cold iron should have an effect.
And Aaron didn't bring any to the throne room.
Hmm. Now, being that this is a taboo subject, I I probably had this drilled into my head more than any of you. I don't know of any way of curing necromancy. There are theories, and just like any other kind of fey magic, that a ferrous metal will work.
Adea perks up at this. She goes, I didn't get to restock when we were in Londinia. Anyone got any of those arrowheads from the battlefield? And those things were fun.
Actually, you'll hear Thunderclap whinny.
Sorry, I was taking note of something. What is he winning at?
Adea, we're not having been able to restock her iron in Londinium, asked if anybody had any arrowheads from the battlefield. Those things were fun.
Thunder had whinnies in response.
Oh, Thunderclap.
Yeah, Thunderhead, sorry. Thunderclap.
Okay. Um. Yeah,
I
bring it
feel
to you. Yeah. Me.
Actually, Thunderclap goes like, "Did you not pay attention to what I was doing those days after the battle?
Thunderclap said yes.
You two-legged cretin!" And actually, like, turns his head around, bites like the makeshift side bag.
I can see the Keffel door turning to Thunderclap and just being like, it's pronounced Cretan. If you're going to insult them, you better do it right.
I don't need lessons from a speech cretin like you.
Oh no.
Frida looks up at the two horses like, please stop, both of you.
You're looking
Just
awfully
please.
tasty there, sir.
Well, of course I'm Daisy. I'm
Argument.
Thunderclap.
You know what I just realized I could have done? I could have given myself advantage with the help action from Gausher.
Oops. Gauch is not being
Yeah,
much use
Thunderclap,
right
like-
now. He's still kind of freaking out at the thought that there's some necromancy going on around here. Feathers are all ruffled, and he's just like, oh.
Thundercrap literally like uses his teeth, grabs like one of the makeshift
no.
saddlebags, and just throws it into the group. And just
Adea looks down at it, looks at Thunderclap, and
How
kind of
about give me a dexterity check for him?
Certainly. I don't remember the modifier for horses when it comes to their dexterity modifier, but I got a 19 on the die.
Okay. Yeah, then it'll land in the middle. I just wanted to make sure it didn't like smack somebody.
Funny.
Adea will like look at the arrowheads and look at Thunderclap and give like a nod of approval. Thank you. They'll kind of dig around in it looking for an iron arrowhead and holding them far apart from each other. She'll have, the crystal in one hand and the arrowhead in another, and
Brenda's just gonna like lightly like reach out. One arm still like she's still holding this drum, but like just takes the necklace of like, I'll hold that for you, Idea. The horses stopped fighting.
It's one of my artifacts of power for the situation. I think.
Bickering for now.
Just look for your arrowhead.
Yeah, Thunderclap, when he tosses it, just says to Dea, I expect numerous gifts before me within a fortnight.
Marco, depending on whether Thunderclap is a war horse or a riding/draft horse, it's either a +1 or +0.
think I went with Warhorse.
And it'd be +1 for Dex.
Awesome.
Dirty 20.
Today we'll only have any clue what Thunderclap's actually saying if somebody translates for her.
I'm sure that Brina does not need to translate that. She's probably like, yeah.
So, like, I think, because, like, she's kind of going in and out of paying attention. Like, she's trying to pay attention, but at the same time, she's just, like, mourning the loss of Grandpa Taliesin. And so she's kind of in that weird funk of brain fog where, like, you need to move forward, but it's kind of like, I'm not quite sure how to get to forward. And I mean, granted, telling the horses to stop bickering helped, but at the same time, it's like with how they were bickering, she doesn't really feel like translating at the moment. So yeah,
Medea does not know about her debt to Thunderclap.
Now, I will caution you that while this might work at drawing out the necromantic magic, it could very well also drain him of any other kind of magic if it hasn't already been replaced. And as Fey beings, we kind of need magic in order to live.
but to save the king, we might end up having to kill the king,
We
and
might
he's already
end up-
dead.
We might end up killing him.
We can try the wild magic first. Or should we save that for after, since it's more naturally magic, kind of?
I will ask that you remember back to Thranakia with all the dead residents. They had the magic drained from them. This could have a similar effect.
While you're talking, nighttime.
Seems
Friggin'
appropriate.
Fine. Can't see. Neither can circumference. I mean, everyone's gonna need to adjust, but those two are having an especially difficult time.
Today lights are played back up.
He daylights are played back up.
Actually, it's probably still lit up. Light lasts for an hour. Unlike the thaumaturgy effects, it only lasts for a minute, and she's probably stuck up, fidgeting as she's actually paying attention to something.
Circumference just goes, oh man, why does it do it like that? Can't we just have a sunset?
Nope.
I don't like this.
I earned turns to two. Just like, you just had to mention that it could last for another 48 hours, didn't you?
My bad. I don't control the sun.
Don't you know that if you mention something, it's doomed to happen? Or not happen?
Not all the options.
That's all that I can think of, and I know some of you might think that the Library of Alexandria might have something, but I can tell you there's probably not much point in looking there. Now, if you want the books on cooking, sure, you can find those in abundance. But not something as taboo as necromancy.
So when are we acting this potentially dangerous rescue plan involving iron and wild magic? I do have more training I'm looking forward to in the morning.
How about Idea? I have a great idea. You first focus on your training, get really good at it, and then you do that test. And if it blows up in all of our faces, we have a better excuse to run.
So we're sticking around for a while.
At least for another day.
Where am I
Yeah,
supposed to
sounds
get more
fun.
rocks, guys? There's no rocks on this island.
You do realize diamonds are more valuable, right?
Of course I know diamonds are valuable. But how valuable are they in a place that's made of diamond?
Can't you just put diamonds in people's shoes?
Look, I want them to be uncomfortable. I don't want to stab them.
Now, Tooth
That
does.
Might be one of the nicest things you've ever said, Tooth.
Now,
Yeah.
now, Tooth does bring a certain point. Where do we want to go after this?
The library.
To the library.
So we want to say third time is the charm?
Yes, everything happens in threes.
Not gonna lie, my brain just went dun
Dun dun duns. One,
We've
two,
sunk in a
three.
boat 3 times. We've been rescued from the water 3 times. Or no, we've been pulled away from a certain location by the Lady of the Lake 3 times. Specifically that. We've only encountered we've only encountered both Londinium and the White Lady twice.
Thank you for bringing about
So,
the
yeah.
curse that I just mentioned.
The side eye from Jen does not make me feel happy.
Well,
The only time
No.
the rule of 3 doesn't seem to be working is on my left leg. But
I know attention to the person behind the curtain.
this time, we must make it.
Do we have a sufficient supply of wood?
Yet, I'm sure that this will show the gods that we really want to get to
What
this
was that?
library.
I can also spend a good chunk of the day asking a bunch of the ocean gods to ensure that we get there.
I'm confused to ask the Lady of the Lake for help with the Fisher King.
If she wanted to do something, she could have done it by now.
Maybe she doesn't know.
Ardell asked us to. He asked if we would at least try.
I know, I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Also, in terms of plans, who's coming with me and has a good, like, accurate arm? Because if anybody remembers the traps from the battlefield, I don't want to be anywhere close to this when we throw it at necromantic magic. I do want to see it though.
I can help you.
Is that
I'm
Tooth?
pretty good at it. That's circumference.
Like circumference. Yeah.
Oh, circumference.
Really deep voice, but my voice is a lot higher than his.
I'm pretty sure it was circumference, but I just wanted to clarify.
Well, I'm trying to make Tooth like really high and annoying, and circumference a little more chill.
Mhm.
A little lower voice.
So basically matching the personalities of your siblings?
Yeah.
Would you look at that?
Exactly. Okay. Anyway, yeah. I got a pretty good arm. So yeah, I can help.
Awesome.
Now, before we break for the evening, did we want to at any point head back to the Kimri camp? Tong will speak up. I, at the very least, want to be compensated for our failed mission.
That's fair enough.
I'd love to
Point.
get to speak with Cadmus some more. And it might be a good idea to pick up some of those sword lessons.
did kind of risk our lives for this, and they said that they would compensate us.
You work for the Kimmery army? Huh. I wouldn't have pegged you guys for that. This is dice.
It's more convenient employment opportunity.
I sell swords to anybody who will buy them.
We are
If I like you, I might even give you them.
we are we are de jure two mercenary groups. De facto, we're one.
In fact, if you supply me, I'll probably just give them to you.
Circumference, what did you peg us as?
Huh?
Circumference,
Well,
what did you peg us as?
fairy folk?
Accurate.
It's not like you're human. I'm not expecting you to just hang around human armies. But maybe that's why their army's been so good at defeating the Saxons. Maybe they
That's
haven't
because
had
they
to
actually
go.
use their. That's because they pay attention to the druids.
Well, that helps. We actually haven't seen any druids in a long time. They stopped coming to us. I think the Romans blocked their way, so they can't get to us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also,
Bless you.
the fairy folk have also openly joined the army. At least a
Oh.
number.
Ah, that must be nice. Hmm. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to do this evening?
When the group breaks, the Tong will hand a letter to Gaoshe, who will fly over to Rada and give her the letter before flying back to his mistress.
Okay.
It just
Alright.
occurred to me that if all Fae are mischievous, the day is mischievous nature comes through in combining magic that shouldn't be combined with the same zeal as Mythbusters with explosives.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I love it. Terrified of it, but I love it. Maybe not terrified, but I have a healthy unease about it.
All right. Anyone else want to do anything before they go to bed?
I don't know. Ern plays his banjo for a few hours before going to bed.
Dad's got so much to be excited for in the morning.
And also checks his stuff to see if the kids took anything.
High or low?
High. Though I will say this, he did make sure his sidewalk chalk was towards the top.
It doesn't look like they touched anything.
Okay.
Dad would be
Well,
very upset if the Bright Hearth had disappeared.
It would be very identifiable, though.
okay. If that's the case, it is 10 o'clock, so we will end session there.
I think Rena's holding on to the